What is an addiction that the world is just okay with? Shitty media consumption. Borrowing money and convincing oneself it'll be fine later. My brother-in-law just killed himself while on Ambien. You see the side effect of suicidal thoughts and assume that's only for people who are depressed or already have suicidal tendencies. My brother-in-law was the least suicidal person I've known. His whole world was taking care of my sister and his kids. And he just woke up one morning after not really sleeping much, even though he took Ambien, got his gun, drove to a park and shot himself. My sister and her kids have no income and are now trying to scrape by without losing the house. There's no way in heck he intended to do it. He'd been on Ambien for 7 years and was starting to worry about memory loss and missing time, so he was trying to wean himself off. I tell everyone I know, if you're someone you love is taking Ambien, find a safe way to stop. I'm very sorry for your loss. What you say is absolutely true. I'm weaning myself off Ambien also because I started to worry about memory loss and brain fog. I started in August and I only managed to reduce by 1/4. I have suicidal ideation and the worsening of my depression and the thoughts I had as a side effect scared me to the point of agony. It's horrible to think how it affects someone so full of life as well. My deepest condolences to your family. Thank you. I really hope you can get off of it, especially if you are already having suicidal thoughts. Are you talking to a doctor? We aren't sure if actually weaning himself made it more dangerous, or if he had some sort of spike, since he was trying not to use it. My sister was mostly asleep when he took that last dose and she doesn't know how much he took. Phone addictions when it's parents instead of kids. Friend of mine said his 8-year-old nephew will pee his pants instead of getting off the iPad. There are other parents who won't let their kids have their own tablet. At my work the restaurant has kids watching YouTube videos and I think it's mainly because the parents don't want to talk to them. Alcohol. Honestly it's so ingrained in British culture and the world at large, but it's almost reached a protected status. You're treated like a weirdo if you just don't want to drink. American here who did volunteer work in England years ago. First weekend there, all my new flatmates said it was time to go hit the pubs. I said, thanks for the invite, but I'll pass. It got quiet real fast. It wasn't an invitation. It was an expectation. Shopping. Dealt with this a few years back. Probably because I started getting some fine lines and I thought expensive makeup and new clothes would make me feel better. Yeah, it didn't. Just added some stress to my life and relationship because of money stuff. Don't fall for this easy trap, ladies and gents. I know the pressure is big, but it's really okay and quite normal to age. My mom died of pancreatic cancer right before her 53rd birthday. 2 years later, I got breast cancer at 37. Losing my mom at such a young age and then having my own life threatened in a similar way was a paradigm shift. My most recent birthday was a different experience because instead of a damn, I'm getting older, my skin isn't so supple, I have laugh lines, my body is worn down, etc. I saw the passing of time as a gift because I'm surviving. I get to age. Not everyone does. I'm getting to see my kids grow up and they get to see me age. My 12-year-old grew taller than me this summer, granted. I'm short and I'm just so lucky I get to be here for it. More gray hairs mean more time with my kids. More laugh lines mean more joy with them. I know that very old age won't be kind to me. I also have lupus. But for now I take the signs of aging almost like markers in a marathon or like milestones. I've made it to 38, I'm hoping to make it to 39. Such a beautiful way to put it. Wishing you long future filled with happiness. Celebrities. I've never understood being obsessed with someone who is no different than you. They are no different yet living such different lives. It's the vicariousness of it. My fiancée is an actress extra mostly. Occasional minor roles and she's worked with a lot of models and up and coming types. One of those worked as a brand ambassador for Dyer or something. Had all the glamour of the wealthy lifestyle. Going to Monaco, film festivals, fancy restaurants, fancy clothes, the lot. But apparently she was never able to switch off. Everything she did had to be tagged and filtered and posted. so she never actually got to enjoy any of the wonderful things she was doing. It sounded exhausting. Sugar, caffeine. Ambien. I work as a pharmacist, and it blows my mind that so many prescribers write for it too often. It's got to be one of the most incorrectly prescribed medications out there. To stop taking it is a rough process, weeks of little to no sleep until your body figures out how to sleep again. The need for social validation. I've seen it happen too. So many people, where their lives turn an obsession of acting or looking perfect, only to crave the attention of total stranger on social media. Like, no, you don't need to post every 2 seconds to feel that you're worth love. The ego is a strong drug. Overeating. Yeah. Though this is in large part due to eating foods that don't make you feel full, especially highly processed foods. Vegetables are really good for this, cause you start to feel full when you actually are full. Plus they also have lots of vitamins. 24-hour news cycles. It's bad because it gives the veneer of being informed without actually being informed. You know the broad strokes and the players and who said did what. But it's all presented in an entertaining way, so you keep on watching and you're not actually informed. There are studies done that people that consume their news that way passively, mind you, are less informed on the whole. A lot of buzzwords or phrases that mean something to the audience but don't actually represent the story. It's caused a lot of problems. Politics isn't sports or meaningless. Being informed and thinking about nuance, or being able to listen to the other side rather than some caricature of it, is important in a democracy. And yet we are raising people to hate the other side, to become further polarized, to treat politics as a game, and all the while making sure our voters are less informed on the whole. It's dangerous. Outage. Being mad about really stupid things, just for the sake of being mad. Editors many have pointed out, I misspelled outrage, lol. Hopefully this edit calms some of the outrage I've caused with my egregious typo. There have been a few studies that have shown how outrage basically has the hallmarks of addiction, and it certainly is not healthy for the person or for a society that is being built to feed people more outrage because it sells. Sips energy drink, video games, hits vape. It amazes me how literally every single reply completely missed the point of your comment, not realizing that it's satirizing people who are addicted to vapes, energy drinks, but don't realize that they are much more crippling addictions than video games. Coffee. Yeah. People are just casually like, I can't function without a cup, and then deny they're addicted. Joke's on you. I can't function even with a cup. I think a lot more people are addicted to alcohol than we care to admit. Took me far too long to understand the joke. What's an alcoholic? Someone who drinks more than their doctor. I don't know why they call it Alcoholics Anonymous. I went to a meeting and knew everybody there. Work. I know some people that straight up can't imagine their life where they don't put aside everything for their job, as their culture has told them they are only worth something while they are earning money. It can get unhealthy very fast. No kidding. Skipping out on physical and mental well-being, ignoring relationships, eating like shit, and not sleeping enough just to make an extra buck. Not worth it. You guys are making extra bucks. Sugar. I've told this story before, but I had a boss who was Mormon. He came to my store one day to get to know me, and he wanted to tell me about the Church of LDS. He starts off with, well, we can't have anything addictive such as alcohol, porn, caffeine. Yes. Porn was the second thing he said. He knew I eat low carb and avoid sugars. So when I moved my gaze to the sweet tarts in his hand, he followed it. Then we both just kind of awkwardly laughed. Dude was constantly eating candy and was the most addicted to sugar of anyone I had ever seen. I live in Utah and it's hilarious how people shit on coffee, but will go to these soda shops so delicious to get an energy drink with added sugar flavoring twice a day. Caffeine. We've normalized caffeine addiction to stay awake and look down on adults who say they had a nap. Seems backwards. Caffeine or a nap? To that I say, both please. Sugar. It's a serious problem. If you don't believe me, look at all of the things in your pantry and see how much you eat in a serving and compare it to the recommended daily sugar intake. Edit. Whoever gave me the silver award, thank you. Edit thanks everyone for all the rewards. Didn't realize this until I was diagnosed pre-diabetic and tried to cut it out. It's in freaking everything. Yeah, same. My dumbass used to think that I don't consume much sugar because I don't have a sweet tooth, but holy crap, I found out it's almost in everything, and I used to consume a lot without realizing. Alcohol, caffeine, mass consumption of media, anything that involves giving money to someone else on a constant and continuous cycle. Nobody is okay with my addiction to alcohol. In fact, it's their go-to insult to put me down. Like the Mitch Hedberg bit, it's the only disease you get in trouble for having. Damn it, Otto. You're an alcoholic. Damn it, Otto. You have lupus. One of those does not sound right. One of my favorites. Unfortunately, I saw him a month or two before his death and his show was terrible. I was so let down. He was so ducked up on drugs it was almost pathetic to watch. He kept asking the audience what jokes to tell and wouldn't finish them sometimes. And he talked to the stool he had on stage, as well as the stage monitor speaker amp a lot. I'm talking, like, he literally had mumbling conversations with these inanimate objects. Dude was clearly ducked on heroin and was drinking liquor on stage. It really took something away from me and showed me a really bad side of him. And I say this is a recovering addict, so I understand the problem very well. It was just so hard to watch because he is one of my faves. Consumerism. It's good to keep on buying for the economy, so they actually promote it. This is a pet peeve of mine. Instead of fixing things, people just purchase new because it's old. I always respond, so, on the flip side of that coin, items are so cheaply manufactured these days. A lot of items are no longer built to be repaired because they are outfitted with plastic parts. Forced obsolescence. They design products to last a short time, to force you to keep buying new stuff. They fight to prevent you from being able to repair it, because if you repair it, you don't buy a new one. I was just given an old Toshiba laptop. On the bottom, there are individual compartments for the RAM, hard drive, an extra hard drive slot, and the battery pops out. So, I bought a battery and upgraded the RAM because it was so easy. In my Asus laptop, everything is glued and complicated. You would think that if you unscrew the bottom of the laptop, it would just remove the case. But no, it completely separates the bottom half of the laptop and there are two cables that attach the two halves. If the battery starts dying on my Asus laptop, it might actually just be easier to buy another laptop. Social media. This might be too recent to have caused real waves, but I'm pretty sure that in a couple of years you'll have to accept the consequences every time you log in. A few years later, social media sites will all have to have standard khaki packs sites and big bold horrifying message everywhere. I really believe that in a few years, social media login pages will have warnings like cigarette packs in Canada, warning the use of these sites has been linked to depression, anxiety, insomnia. Please enter at your risk, or something to that effect. Fast food, social media, pop and other sugary drinks. Internet. There are a lot of people, me included, who are so used to being able to be online 24/7 where even a day without internet is going to be a rough time. Alcohol. We talk a lot of game about how bad alcoholism is, but drinking is such a social expectation that you almost get judged just as much for not wanting to touch the shite. Then we see a bunch of wine mom memes going across Facebook and just kinda don't question it. Oh, and caffeine. Cocaine for rich people. Where can I find the cocaine for poor people? It's called crack. You might have seen its zombies strolling around, or the former mayor of Toronto. Can't believe how deep I went and didn't see booze. The mommy wine crowd. The daily pub stop for 2 or 3. The people who drink a cocktail or 2 and half a bottle of wine practically every night. I know so many functioning alcoholics, it is mind-boggling. Work. Everyone praises someone who works extra hours and earns more money. The downside is that person will miss out on living, friendships and relationships. YouTube. I think it's great, but I don't imagine life without it. Porn. I had to scroll down this far for this. This'll probably get downvoted, but marijuana. Although it may not cause deaths directly and is good for some medicinal purposes, some people take it too far and let it interfere with their lives. Greed and the acquisition of wealth and possessions. Addiction to money, also known as greed. Honestly surprised weed isn't up there. Yes, it can be great for so many reasons, but is also an addictive substance, and so many younger people are fully dependent on it.